Hey everyone. Hi. Welcome back to English with Emily. I'm really happy you're here today. Thank you so much for subscribing, for listening, and for supporting this little space we're building together. This podcast is a safe, warm place for you to relax, to breathe, to make mistakes, and to slowly build confidence in your English. You don't have to be perfect here. You're already doing enough just by showing up.
Yeah, I really like how you said that. Showing up is already a big thing. Hi everyone, I'm Josh, and I'm sitting here with my coffee, still a little sleepy, but feeling good.
Same. I'm definitely still waking up. My coffee is doing its job, slowly. So today, we're just gonna talk. Nothing heavy, nothing stressful. We're talking about hobbies, the things we do when we're not trying to be productive, when we're just being ourselves.
Yeah, the things that make time disappear, or sometimes the things we want to do, but don't always make time for.
Exactly. And hobbies can feel really personal, right? Like when someone asks, "So, what do you do for fun?" I still feel a little nervous answering that.
Me too. I always feel like my answer is too boring or too weird. I'm like, is this a safe answer?
Yeah, there's this pressure to have a cool hobby. Like if you don't say rock climbing or traveling the world, it doesn't count.
Right. But honestly, some of my favorite hobbies are really quiet, like reading the same book again, or just walking with my headphones on and not talking to anyone.
That totally counts. You know, when I was younger, I didn't even think I had hobbies. I thought hobbies were for talented people. I was like, oh, I'm not good at anything, so I guess I don't have one.
Wow. Yeah, I relate to that. I thought hobbies had to be impressive, like you had to be good at them.
Exactly. But now I see hobbies more as places where I can rest, not perform.
That's a really nice way to say it. So, what's a hobby you have now that feels like rest?
Honestly, cooking simple food. Nothing fancy, just chopping vegetables slowly, putting music on, not rushing. It makes me feel grounded.
I love that. I always forget that cooking can be a hobby, not just a chore.
Yeah, and I notice when I talk about it, I often say, I like cooking instead of I love cooking, because love feels too big. Quick little note for you listening. When we say I like instead of I love, it often means we enjoy something, but it's not our biggest passion. Both are very natural in everyday English, and neither one is better. Just choose what feels true for you.
That's interesting. I do that too. I say, I like drawing, even though I've been drawing for years.
See? That's so common. Why do you think you do that?
I think I'm scared people would judge me. Like if I say, I love drawing, they might say, oh yeah? Let me see. And then panic.
Yeah, that moment. I think a lot of English learners feel that too, not just about hobbies, but about speaking.
Totally. Saying what you love feels vulnerable.
Do you remember how you started drawing?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I was really bad at it. Like, really bad. I drew the same face over and over. Big eyes, tiny mouth. Every single time.
That sounds kind of adorable, though.
It probably was. But I remember feeling embarrassed, even alone in my room. I think, why am I even doing this?
And yet you kept going.
Yeah, because it felt good, even when it was bad.
That's such a big lesson, honestly. I think hobbies teach us that it's okay to be bad at something and still enjoy it.
Yeah. There's no test, no score.
No red pen. And when people ask about hobbies in English, I notice they often say, "What do you do in your free time?" What do you do in your free time is a very common, natural question. You don't need a long answer. Even something simple like, I usually watch videos, or I like walking, is more than enough.
I wish someone told me that earlier. I always thought I needed a long, interesting answer.
Same. I used to prepare answers in my head, like a script.
Oh, wow, me too. And then the conversation would change, and my script was useless.
Yeah, real life doesn't follow scripts. That's why we're just talking here, pausing, saying, changing ideas. That's real English.
Speaking of real, can I admit something?
Of course.
Sometimes I copy other people's hobbies. Like if my friend is into photography, suddenly I'm like, yeah, I'm into photography too, even if I'm not that into it.
That's very honest. I think we do that because we want connection.
Yeah, we want something in common.
And that's okay. Hobbies can change. They can come and go. You might hear us say, I'm into, instead of I like. I'm into sounds very casual and natural in spoken English. It just means you enjoy something, often recently.
I'm into that explanation.
See? Perfect example. What's a hobby you stopped doing but still think about?
Playing guitar. I wasn't great, but sometimes when I hear a song, my fingers kind of remember.
That's beautiful, actually. I think hobbies leave traces in us, even when we stop.
Yeah, like old paths.
Hmm. You know, talking about hobbies can feel small, but it's actually talking about who we are when no one is watching.
That's deep, but true.
And if you're listening and thinking, I don't have any hobbies, that's okay too. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're surviving.
Yeah, rest can be a hobby.
Absolutely. Sometimes my hobby is doing nothing and not feeling guilty about it.
That's a hard one to learn.
Still learning, honestly. So, if you had to describe your hobby in one simple sentence, what would you say?
I like drawing because it helps me slow down.
That's perfect. Mine would be, I like cooking simple food because it makes me feel calm. Notice how we use because to share a feeling or reason. You don't need a big explanation, just one honest reason is enough.
You know, I feel calmer just talking about this.
Oh, and before we really disappear, I just want to stay a few more minutes, if that's okay. Sometimes I don't like ending things too suddenly.
Yeah, same. I always feel like there's this quiet moment after bye where you're still sitting there, you know?
Exactly, like you're still holding the cup even though it's empty.
Mine's completely empty now. I'm still pretending there's something left.
I do that too. You know, I was thinking, hobbies also change with our energy. Like, some days I can cook and enjoy it, and other days my hobby is just lying down and listening to the same song again and again.
Yeah, repeating things can be comforting. I rewatch the same video sometimes. People might think it's boring, but it feels safe.
Safe is such a good word. I think many English learners look for that feeling too. Safety, not pressure.
hmm When I first tried talking about my hobbies in English, I felt small, like my words were smaller than my thoughts.
Oh, wow, that's such a clear feeling. And it's okay if your English feels small sometimes. It grows, slowly. If you ever feel like your sentence is too simple, that's okay. Simple sentences are strong. Native speakers use them all the time, especially when talking about personal things.
I wish someone told me that earlier. I used to think simple meant wrong.
Yeah, but simple can be honest, and honesty is easier to understand.
You know what I like about hobbies? They don't rush you. They wait.
That's really true. They're there when you're ready.
Just like this podcast, hopefully.
That's the dream, a place you can come back to, even if you're quiet, even if you don't understand everything.
Even if you just listen and don't speak.
Listening is already learning and resting.
You know, I feel like we're both slowing down now.
Yeah, my voice feels softer.
Same. It feels like the end of a long day.
If you're listening at night, I hope this feels like a gentle ending. If it's morning, I hope it feels like a calm start.
And if it's somewhere in between, that's okay too.
Thank you for being here with us, really, for sharing this quiet space.
We'll talk again soon.
Until then, take care of yourself, enjoy the little things, and don't worry if your hobbies are simple.
Simple is good.
Simple is enough. Bye, everyone.
Bye. And thanks for listening.